was the tribal chief losing patience to of you.
I feel I can tell you that at some point I'm gonna end up losing my patience.
Let's review the top 5 things that happened last night in Smackdown. We'll start with number 5. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez started their title reign with a celebration that was interrupted by Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. Hopefully this gets to a good story because Liv Morgan and Sonya Deville had quite a rivalry last year. And we all know that Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez won the tag team titles at Monday Night Raw after Trish Stratus betrayed Becky Lynch and Lita. So let's see if WWE can actually build a good story for the tag team titles. Number 4. Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio, the feud continues, and this basically happens after the match of Damian Priest and Escobar. And after that, Rey and Dominic kept fighting. So the story, of course, we all know here that I thought that it was going to end at WrestleMania, but since that with the inclusion of Latin World Order, it's probably gonna finish at a match between Latin World Order and the Judgment Day, maybe at Backlash. So let's see how this story continues to develop, but of course we'll see that Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio keep fighting. So we go with number 3, and Nakamura returned to action with a victory over Madcap Moss. And I was really hoping that Nakamura was going to get a push maybe and go after the Tribal Chief with a new character or maybe a stronger character, but after his match we saw a little video package from Karrion Kross and Scarlett with a card that we all saw the image of Nakamura. So sadly seems to be that Karrion Kross is going after Nakamura. And I say sadly because I really wanted to see Nakamura going after the Tribal Chief. But seems like it's not going to happen, at least in the near future. Nakamura returns, number 3, number 2 moment of the night. It was very direct promo from Paul Heyman that told everybody that the rematch is going to happen in 2 weeks at SmackDown, the rematch for the tag team titles. But, and this was to me the most interesting part, probably also from the show, is that there was a little warning from the Tribal Chief. And that warning was that he was getting impatient or losing patience, and Paul Heyman said, with the 2 of you. And the Usos were not looking at Paul Heyman, that he was actually looking at them, at the Usos. The Usos thought that Paul Heyman was referring to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, that the Tribal Chief was losing patience with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, but the Usos didn't notice that Paul Heyman was looking at them. So the story here is that the Tribal Chief is losing patience with the Usos. And what does that mean? What does that mean if they don't actually regain the titles in 2 weeks? Are they going to be kicked out of the Bloodline? What is going to happen with that story? I think that's really the most interesting part of the storyline right now. And number 1, the main event, Solo Sikoa beats Matt Riddle in what it was getting to be an interesting match. But before we get there, we need to realize how this all happened actually. And it happened because at the start of the show, and this is all the same story actually, that's what is at number 1, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were interrupted by the Bloodline, or the Usos and Solo Sikoa. And that happened when they were talking about that probably the Usos are gonna be asking for a rematch, and that's when they appeared. And of course the Usos, they got into a fight with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, but of course it was 3-on-2, and then Matt Riddle appeared. So the things were level. And that is when the match between Matt Riddle and Solo Sikoa is actually arranged for the main event. In the main event, as I was saying, it was getting to be a good wrestling match until, of course, the match was interrupted by the Usos and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, of course, continuing with the same story that they are fighting, right? The Bloodline against Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Matt Riddle. And of course, we also have to remember that there's a little story here with Matt Riddle and Solo Sikoa. That Solo Sikoa, actually, if you remember, in December he put Matt Riddle out of business for kind of 3 months already. So this rivalry between Solo Sikoa and Matt Riddle, it's unique story in itself, and it's getting a bit more intense every week. So hopefully it really gets to a good point. And the other story, of course, is the tag team titles, that is going to be a rematch in 2 weeks. And of course, I really expect a really great wrestling match. But I also expect some intervention from Solo Sikoa probably. So let's see what happens in 2 weeks when the tag team titles are on the line once again. So that's it for today. If you like, please share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.